Can't even remember if we talked about the new Office icons or whatever, but yeah,
I
there's
think we did.
a little bit going on.
Yeah, icons.
Yeah.
How you feeling about Xbox?
And
Too soon.
look, here's the thing: they're going to take this aggressive shot at trying to grow revenue. That's what they've done, right? They did the spending. Now they're doing the maximizing. If the maximizing doesn't work, then it gets real interesting about like what actually happens.
This I don't
Did
know.
they
I don't know.
spin this thing out? Did they try to sell it off? I don't know.
So Sarah Bond had some interview past 24 hours. I just flipped through it quickly last night when I saw it, but she claims that Game Pass is profitable.
Which is such a non-statement, by the way. How is it profitable? Is it profitable because hey, everybody who's paying the subscription covers it? Is it covering
Yeah,
the game development cost? Is it what's it like? What is it covering the cost for the infrastructure to run Xbox Live? Like profitable is
I thought that was good news. I don't know. I'm sorry I said it. No, you're no, you're yeah, right. I mean, taken in isolation, whatever. Xbox as a business would be profitable if it wasn't for hardware. I mean, I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
Like it's not a I hate Xbox question. It's a
Oh,
if they can't if they we both know Microsoft. We both know what they're doing.
yeah,
If they can't grow the business beyond what it is, what do they do with it? They're not just going to sit there and let it make a couple
right.
$1 billion a year because it's like their annual income is like 1/4 of Windows or something like that.
Yeah. So, right. So the pertinent, well, profitable's fine. Um, do they have 17 subscribers and it's profitable for those guys? Like,
Right.
last time they gave us a number was almost 2 years ago, year and a half ago, whatever. That that was in the story. Actually, I read it said something to the tune of whatever time, January 2024, maybe Microsoft
Mm-hmm.
said they had 34 million Game Pass subscribers. And then the article said something like, there's an indication that they've crossed the 35 million subscriber line. And I was like, that's not a big number in this market in some ways. I mean, well, maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, well, because it's across PC, right? And I, what do you compare that to? Like, how many? I bet there are. Well, I shouldn't bet. I'm not going to bet, but I bet if you looked at Sony's numbers, they must have some subscriber base of their thing. Do we compare it to the consumer versions of Microsoft 365? I mean, what do we like? Like, what's
Yeah.
the? I don't know. That doesn't. Console markets are small compared to the biggest digital markets. Like for phones, computers, tablets, whatever. It's still millions. I get it, but
The other interesting scenario when you look at it that way, a lot of
yeah,
times when you think of like a spin out or whatever, like, yeah, that company would actually do better if it was by itself and then have the distractions of the greater work. I don't think
yeah.
that's true in the case of Xbox.
Well, it's not true in the case of Xbox in their current scheme because it relies on this kind of cloud stuff, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the thing that makes Xbox make sense with Microsoft is the back end cloud infrastructure, right? Not for streaming games, although yes, that, but just because this is how games are distributed now.
Right.
You know, by the way, you would have done so. Did you get a look at like Call of Duty, the beta for
No, I
Black
haven't
Ops?
touched it yet.
Yeah, well, blink because it's like the same game. Anyway, with slightly more modern settings, I guess, in the maps, but
Yeah.
the maps aren't good.
I
I'm not
mean,
happy with that.
let's be real. These are map packs and skin packs.
That's what it feels like. Anyway, but
Yeah.
but that this was a 46 or 64 gigabyte download. I don't remember. And man, that was not going fast. I was plugging computers into wires to make it go faster and everything, and it took a long time. And then this isn't Microsoft's fault, although yeah, it is. They own Activision. After you do this install, and it has to reboot the game multiple times, you just in the course of starting it, it's like, oh, we have to go back, and it just restarts and restarts and restarts. And you're like, all right, look, it's been an hour, it's been a couple hours, whatever amount of time frame I've been waiting to play this stupid game. At least now I'm in the game. And you're like multiplayer, and you click in, and it's doing this little thing in the corner, and it's redrawing the shaders or something. Dude, that takes like another 30 minutes. And it's like, you can play the game if you want, but it's not going to work if we don't get to do this thing. So, yeah, that's a good experience. Imagine if it was hosted on Oracle. I don't know.
The back of my brain absolutely loves what's going on with Xbox right now because like
Because
we're living history, right?
Okay.
Something's gonna happen with Xbox here. Either it's gonna like really start getting some revenue behind it, a new revenue, right? Revenue growth, like it's really gonna take off. We're gonna see Microsoft do some crazy stuff or whatever, or it's not, and then Xbox and Microsoft are gonna figure out like what are we doing with this thing because it doesn't.
Yep.
It doesn't fit into what they do. It's their only like true consumer brand, and that's just not the company that they are anymore, or really were. I mean,
Yeah, look, one of the mini controversies going on right now at Microsoft is this thing we talked about the other day where Satya Nadella didn't step down as CEO, but this other guy who's the CEO of something, and there's a lot of CEOs now, this thing is Xbox in this case is run like it is kind of run like a standalone business. I realize that Phil Spencer or whomever has to take the knee in front of the senior leadership team or whatever it is and explain themselves, and they can say yes or no to certain things. I'm sure positive they've wanted to do more in many areas, including hardware. And Amy Hood or whomever who was like, no, yeah, you're not doing that. It's not going to ever make sense. But I, as a standalone business, again, forgetting about the hardware, because you kind of have to. It's good business, It's a big business.
mm-hmm.
Do we know for a fact? I mean, for example, is this thing, Microsoft Games or whatever it's called, is it the biggest game publisher in the world?
If it's not, it's up there, right?
Got to be, right? That's what I mean. Like, it's got to be, right?
It's got to be I guess it depends how you slice that.
Yeah. Well, you could slice it by number of users, number of revenues.
I'm sure by at least on one metric, absolutely. Like you look at companies like is it bigger than EA? Is it a $50 billion? Oh, it should be that they spent more than that on Activision. So yeah, so probably I would imagine.
Yeah. Anyway, wherever they lie, it's one of the biggest ones, right? And I don't know. I think I after our conversation yesterday, I wrote about this. One of the things and this, you can only touch the tip of the iceberg on this thing because there's so much, but like, there's been so many corrections and layoffs and studio closings and game cancellations, et cetera, in the industry, and I feel like we've hit peak game cost in a sense. Not that prices always go up, I get it, but like we've been spending Activision, whoever has been spending all this money making things like Call of Duty games that are have the same budgets as Hollywood blockbusters, make the same amount of money or more, whatever it is, and I'm starting to think that may not be necessary, going forward because of AI, right? This isn't that type of game, but when you can basically have AI generate an ongoing thing in an open world forever, and I always talk about the Call of Duty version for multiplayer where it could just make more. We know what levels people like,
Yep.
Although having played the game yesterday, I can attest more of the same is not necessarily the greatest strategy. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But if anything, it could at least usher in kind of a golden age of gaming, if you will, in the sense that by democratizing game making even further, it's like handing a filmmaker to be an iPhone and saying, go make a movie with this, and they can, maybe we're going to, have that moment here with games. I don't know that helps Xbox, but it could help them. But anyone who makes games, like, it should lower your costs, And
it does.
And they'll pass the savings along to us, like they just did.
But then I don't know. But again, like, what does Xbox do? Xbox is
What do they do?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a. I would love to be a fly on the wall since they've made this announcement because they clearly have dashboarding that says, okay, here's how many people how many canceled yesterday or aren't going to renew since
Yeah, oh
they've
yeah.
made the announcement. I would love
Yep.
to know that number.
Some of this is tough because you might have people who are just go month to month and they're kind of sitting there, or maybe someone's already bought the year thing and it's still waiting to get through it, like I kind of am. And we'll see what happens, right? I mean, this is a gut check moment, I think, for everyone.
Oh, that's why I'd love to
Um,
know
yeah,
because they know that they will lose some. Absolutely, people will bail out. But the question is the percentage of people who bail out less than the price increase revenue that will come in? So you can have
here's one. Here's
yeah.
some math for you that is impossible because you don't have all the variables. They overpriced Ultimate. There's no doubt about it, right? The other two, to me, make some sense. Like they're
Yeah.
they're historically in line with what Game Pass has kind of been. Ultimate makes no sense. And as you start giving those lower tiers more of the stuff that was just Ultimate, like cloud gaming, not that that matters to too many people, but whatever. Really, what you're left with, it's this day one thing, right? That's what this is.
Yeah.
All three of the tiers are now cross-platform. All three of the tiers now have cloud gaming, yes, with whatever limitations. But it's really day one. That's the thing. Ultimate is now day one. And this is where we see one of two things. Either the true cost of day one to Microsoft and why it has to be that high, or they literally overpriced it. And what they're really doing is saying, we need you to get off of this. We want people off of this. That somehow a person or individual, whatever, paying $9.99 or $14.99 a month without day one is more profitable, if you will, to Microsoft than one person paying $29.99 and getting the day one. Because think about like how much is day one really worth? Is it worth $69.99? In some cases, right? And then throughout the year, how many they would actually play of those games and not pay for? And then what number do you get to where that thing starts to make sense to either side of this equation, Microsoft or the customer? I think we know that the day one was the mistake they regretted. This is the size of that regret, and I think they want to get rid of it. I think that's it. I think they want to walk that one back.
Mm-hmm.
Because it never made sense with Activision.
That's not an implausible thought either, right? Maybe you're exactly right. They want everybody in the base, one of the base ones. They'll buy a game or two, and they did the math like, we come out ahead. Well,
someday,
no, I guess they don't, but
they'll correct it again. They'll put something between whatever the middle tier is now and Ultimate. And this will be the deal, dude. They'll say you can have 2 day one games in a year. You get to pick.
Yeah, they call it Premium Plus.
That's what I'm saying. Like and then we'll be like, oh, there's the cost, right?
Yeah.
Then we'll know. But right now we have no way of knowing, right? And maybe it goes up and down year to year based on the games that are coming out and the cost of them and yada yada.
I mean,
or just the size of the audience. Whatever.
Unusual for Microsoft to do confusing things around SKUs and pricing. And
I just the problem I have with Microsoft this year, literally, if you think all the layoffs, right? You could throw AI into this. The way they're structuring the company could go into this, but Xbox absolutely. It literally comes down to: can you not read the room? You just raised prices on your consoles again in the same year, and now you're doing this. And then, it as an exercise to the listener, go and read the blog post. They position it like they're doing something good for gamers, and it's like, guys. It's like, do you? It's like when Google will get up on stage and be like, "People come to us because they trust us with their most private information," and you're like, "Do they?"
No,
I don't think that's what's happening. I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. But speaking of next week, I don't know what my schedule is yet. Because I may be going to the office. I may have jury duty. I find out at 6:30.
Oh, yeah.
I have 6:30 p.m. tonight. I'll find about jury duty for next week. But I was looking to go to the office because they're having an event up there going on.
Well, I have good news. I'm not going anywhere. And
how unusual.
Yeah, I've had.
That means nothing will happen. If we want something to happen,
no, please, nothing. I can't. I need like a couple of weeks at least of like just,
Yeah, that's called
Not
end of
moving.
January.
Oh.